Aren't those the twins who stole the glass slipper? King Chance said, stepping forward from the clump of kings. No, we tried to tell you it wasn't us, said Alex, panicked, afraid history was about to repeat itself and she and her brother would be chased by guards. Everyone relax, Cinderella laughed. No one stole anything. I invited them here. My fairy godmother wanted to have a word with them. What does she want with them, dear? King Chance asked his wife. I'm not sure, Cinderella said. Alex and Connor exchanged looks of dread. This must be even more serious than the broken slipper. We may have accidentally broken one of your shoes, Alex said. Connor had never seen her look so ashamed. It wasn't really our fault, Connor said. I mean, it was, but it was a really complicated situation and would never have happened unless it absolutely had to. Oh, that's no trouble at all, Cinderella said. I can't tell you how many times I've broken them myself. The fairy godmother always fixes them when she visits. That's probably all she wants. She'll be here soon. The twins sighed with such relief that they shrank a few inches. Connor patted his sister on the shoulder, as he knew she had been stressing about it. If there was ever a group of people she wanted to leave a good impression with, it was this one. Snow White, Red, Alex, and Connor joined the women huddled around the baby. King Chandler dragged Froggy over to where the men were in the corner and introduced him to them. Froggy awkwardly shook their hands. He was the first frogman ever to be inside the palace. Look at her, Snow White said, looking down at baby Princess. She's beautiful. She looks just like you, Cinderella, Red said. I was a beautiful baby myself. The princess was indeed beautiful. She was only a few days old, but looked just like her mother, with auburn hair and bright eyes. I'm so glad to see you two are all right, Sleeping Beauty said to the twins. Did everything work out for you? She winked at them. The twins looked down at their feet. Not so great, unfortunately, Alex said. She reached into her bag and pulled out the spindle. Thank you for letting us borrow this, though. My pleasure, Sleeping Beauty said, and took the spindle from her. And Connor, I have to thank you for your... what did you call it again? Oh, yes, the rubber band trick. I've been trying it on a few citizens, and it appears to be helping quite a bit. Connor was beaming. I told you so, he said, a rare thing for him to say. Do you remember how he told them that he wore a rubber band around his wrist to wake himself up when he got sleepy? Snow White, I heard they finally found your stepmother, Cinderella said. Congratulations, this must be such a relief. The other queens and fairies added their congratulations on the subject. However, Snow White didn't seem happy about it. Is everything all right, Snow? Sleeping Beauty asked. Yes, of course, Snow White said. It's all very bittersweet. Bittersweet? Emeralda asked. It's a long story, Snow White said. Wonderful! I love stories, Rapunzel said, and made herself more comfortable sitting on the floor. Snow White looked at the twins. They smiled very supportively at her, encouraging her to tell the others everything they already knew. Snow White told the queens and fairies all about her stepmother's past. She explained to them about the enchantress taking her away from her family, how her fiancé was cursed into the mirror, and about the heart of stone. She left out about the part about helping her escape, however, because just as the twins had kept details from Red Riding Hood, Snow White knew her audience. Many of the women looked as if they were on the verge of tears. Some held their hands over their mouths. Others shook their heads in disbelief. I can't believe it, Rosette said. That's the saddest story I've ever heard, said Coral, petting the walking fish who rested peacefully in her lap. And even when the whole world hated her, she still never quit trying to free the man she loved, Sleeping Beauty said. She never gave up hope, Skylene said. Cinderella sat straight up in her throne. Hope! That's it, she said, looking down at her daughter. That's That's what I'm going to name her. Princess Hope Charming, the future queen. It's beautiful, King Chance said, and kissed his newborn daughter on the forehead. Everyone awed and clapped their approval. Then I believe it's time we christen Princess Hope with a few gifts, Emeralda said, and gestured to the fairies to get on their feet. One by one, the fairies each blessed the princess with a christening spell. They gave her gifts of wisdom and health, of compassion and wealth, of pride and discipline, and lastly of beauty, although she already had plenty to spare. Would you like to hold her? Cinderella asked Alex. Me? Alex asked, pointing to herself. Yes, I would be honored. Cinderella gently placed her daughter into Alex's arms. Alex wondered if the baby had any idea where or who it was. Did she know how special she already was by having been born? Did she know she was a future queen of a kingdom in the land of stories? The baby yawned. Perhaps she did know and was exhausted just thinking about it. The doors of the ballroom opened and the twins saw a familiar face coming toward them. It was Sir Lambton, and he had an enormous grin on his face. Your Majesty, the fairy godmother has arrived, Sir Lambton said. Oh, splendid, Lambton, Cinderella said. Would you let her know where we are? I just had a thought. Do you think the fairy godmother could be the twins' grandmother? I wonder. Certainly, Your Highness, Lambton said, but before she joined you, she would like to have a word with the children. Alone. All the heads in the room turned to Alex and Connor, who gulped in unison. She's waiting in the clock tower, Lambton said. The twins slowly walked out of the ballroom with Lambton. He guided them through the palace, staircase after staircase, up to the clock tower. It's great to see you two again, Lambton told the twins. The fairy godmother has been looking for you two for quite some time now. That can't be good, Connor said. Are we in trouble? Lambton didn't answer. The twins grew very worried by his silence. Alex pulled out the map and the journal from her bag along with the piece of the glass slipper. If she's upset about something, we'll just explain ourselves from the very beginning, Alex said. We haven't done anything wrong, have we? Of course not, Connor said. Our intentions were always very good with everything we did. Right? The twins and Lambton ran out of stairs to climb and found a round door that led inside the clock tower. Lambton knocked lightly on the door. Come in, a voice from inside said. Here we go, Alex said to Connor. Fingers crossed. Lambton led the twins inside. The clock tower was gigantic. The twins felt like they were in the inside of an enormous antique clock, as there were giant turning gears and mechanisms everywhere you looked. They could see the entire kingdom through the clock face. A short woman was standing with her back to the door, looking out over the kingdom. She wore a long, hooded, light blue overcoat that sparkled like the night sky. I'll leave you alone now, Lambton said. He promptly shut the door behind him and left the twins alone with the fairy godmother. The twins cautiously tiptoed closer to the woman. Excuse me, Connor asked. Miss Fairy Godmother? You wanted to see us? The fairy godmother turned to face the children. She was a beautiful older woman with kind eyes and a radiant smile. Her hair was light brown and was worn up in a gorgeous hairdo. The twins froze. Grandma? Alex gasped.